Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or indeed, if you are new to the channel, welcome along. My name is Andy, the Uncommentator, for episode number 25 of this Extreme Warfare Avengers series, where I am booking Control Your Narrative. Now you can see there, we're currently on Thursday the 10th of July. I'm recording this on Saturday the 13th of September, so about 2 months later, the same day as the Canelo versus Crawford fight, if you're interested in boxing. But if you're not interested in boxing, there's lots of wrestling going on over this weekend. I'm not going to rant about WWE and then carry on watching it anyway, like brain dead sheep, like I normally do at the start of these videos, because that's not important. What is important is what's going to be taking place in this video, and that is going to be the build for our next big event, because we've got that coming up in 1 week. We've only got 2 shows left between now and the next big July event, which is of course Exordium, and we've got 2 shows left, 1 week's of build, and no matches currently booked. So we're gonna have to shove a card together pretty quickly. But that's gonna be taking place in this video, so lots and lots of things to cram in. So less talky, more clicky. Let's get on with it, and let's put this card together. So we need, of course, to skip on into next week. We're going to be doing the next episode of Liberty and the next episode of Disruption. I don't think in that order, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, Samurai Del Sol has gone to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Okay. Thomas Buxton has gone to NWA. I think he sounds like a Regan, if we're calling it that. I don't know what you call that on here. Alex Zane, in relation to Brian, I'm sure, has gone to AIW. I feel like I talk about that channel quite a lot. Yeah, he's not paying me for it, I can assure you. Cinta de Oro has gone to NJPW on a written contract. Cinta, well, that's Gold, something of Gold. Gold Cinta. Drake Younger has gone to MLW. Impact have signed Ethan Page to a written contract. That's annoying, because that's my long-term booking gone. Tyler Bates also gone to Impact. Fair enough. Yeah, so if you've been watching the series from the beginning, first of all, thank you. Your check is in the post, and second of all, you'll remember that I sort of started a storyline about Ethan Page sort of invading, and then I was going to pay that off eventually. I was going to bring him once we got a little bit larger. I was going to bring him back, and it was going to be a big feud between him and EC3 eventually. But when I'll spoil it now. Basically, when EC3 finally wrestles, which he will eventually, it was going to be Ethan Page that was going to sort of do him over and then start that big rivalry. You know, I'd not forgotten about it. So, but yeah, we can't do that now. So that's annoying. But that's part of in a small promotion. You know, your talent gets stolen, or people that you want to sign get signed by bigger companies, and then you just have to adapt, so to speak. So that's a little bit irritating, but oh well. That's Ethan Page gone now. So we've had Ethan Page getting signed. We've now got an incident. Let's see what this incident is. Please don't be an injury. Okay, Too Tough Tony. So I can't fire him because he's unsackable. I'm just gonna have to ignore that, I'm afraid. I don't really want to do that, but yeah, we need to use him. So that's unfortunate what we're going to have to do. Right, so here we are now on show day, the 14th of July. So as I said, the next episode of Disruption, and then Liberty. That's what's going to be taking place in this video. And they'll be here at Exordium, which is taking place on the 18th of July. So let's, before we start the booking of the next show, let's quickly remind ourselves where we left off at the end of the last video. So this was the last episode of Liberty. Oh, it's going to be the 50th show. Interesting, although not quite, because the first show got duplicated twice for some reason. But anyway, let's not worry about that. So this is the this was the last show. Sorry, if I can remember myself what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, so Clark Connors debuted and officially joined the Bullet Club War Dogs. So the Whisper and Richard Holiday are just kind of beating people before they kind of keeping that feud going by a bit of one-upsmanship. I mean, it's not the best feud I've ever come up with, that one, to be fair. Zicky Dice is returning from his drug rehabilitation very, very soon. So people can chant rehab, hopefully, or maybe might chant therapy at him. Who knows? We've also got Jake Atlas took on Chris Dickinson. So Chris Dickinson is trying to, well, basically get his career going. We've got... I'm not making this sound more interesting, am I? I can assure you it's more interesting than I'm making it sound. So the Shark Boy and EC3 feud is continuing. So Shark Boy and Jervis Cottonbelly have kind of befriended each other, but they're getting outnumbered by the Hatchet Boys and Jonah. And then the Bullet Club War Dogs and their rivalry with Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill is continuing. We've also got Get Tree's Hands, which aren't happy about how Bullet Club War Dogs are sort of taking over, basically. Right, so that is that. That was an atrocious recap. Go and watch the last video if you haven't. That will hopefully be better than that last minute of me talking will be. But again, that's not important. What is important is what's going to be taking place going forward, the new content that we're going to be producing, and that is going to kick off with this episode of Disruption, and it's going to kick off with a challenge for the July event that currently has no matches booked. But I've not planned this out very well, but I actually think the final card, I know what the card's going to be, I just haven't actually presented it yet. So hopefully the card will come together and look... I think the card's pretty good, but then again I would say that because I came up with it. So it's going to be a challenge but no answer. If I can find that one. Where's that one? Call out an answer. There we go. So it's going to be a challenge for Exordium. So Chris Dickinson is going to be challenging Patrick Clarke. So he's going to call out the head of the blacklist. Going to call out Patrick Clarke. Say, let's just settle this once and for all. And then there's going to be no answer to that challenge. And then we're going to be moving in to our first match of the night, and it's yet another tag team match player. It's going to be the new found friendship of Jervis Cottonbelly and Shark Boy, and they are going to be taking on the backstage menace that is Two Tough Tony and his tag team partner Corporal Robinson, better known as the Hatchet Boys. I could have made it a stable for EC3's kind of heavies, but I'm not going to do that. The Hatchet Boys will win, so we'll give Corporal the win because obviously Two Tough's been a bit of a pain. So he's going to win by interference. So Jonah is going to interfere. Of course, Jonah, another one of EC3's heavies, and of course, better known as Bronson Reed now in real life. But the aftermath is the key to this match, because that is going to set up a 6-person tag for the Exordium event, and there's going to be a save, and it's going to be a run-in from a wrestler called the Hobo. Now, if you don't know who the Hobo is, you're not alone, because I don't either, but apparently he is an old tag team partner of Jervis Cottonbelly. So this is going to be the Hobo's debut. He's going to even up the numbers by making a save. And so the point of this match is, of course, to debut the Hobo and establish, I think they're called the Friendship Express. So we're going to establish that tag team, essentially. Bit of a Timu best friends, I suppose you could look at it like that. What's happened to Trent Beretta, by the way? What's happened to Orange Cassidy? Speaking of best friends, I don't know if he's injured. If he's injured, then he's injured. But yeah, he seems to have been injured for a long time. Anywho, let's move on, and let's move on to booking a first official match for Exordium. It's going to be challenge for next big event, and it's going to be a rematch between the Whisper, who is going to challenge Richard Holiday once again. They're going to have another match, and then we need to set up Maki Ito's monthly match, where she basically does the same thing over and over again. We'll keep on doing it for now, though. We will change it up eventually, I'm sure, but for now, we'll stick with it. So, host gets taunted. Host get taunted by guest. No, it's not that one. It is... Which one is it now? I can't remember which one it is. Host taunts work. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So it's Maki Ito. So of course, Maki Ito comes out. She's about to do a concert, and she wants somebody to come and watch the concert close up. An opportunity to see her live in person. And the person who comes out is going to be a wrestler by the name of Kyoko Inoue. Now, if you don't know who Kyoko Inoue is, I actually do know who this is, unlike the hobo. So if you don't know who Kyoko Inoue is, then if you go onto YouTube and you type in and search for Kyoko Inoue versus Minami Toyota, you will find a video that's about an hour and 10 minutes long, I think. And the thumbnail is Minami Toyota pushing her hair back behind her ears, I think. But yeah, go and watch that video and then come back and hear me say you're welcome, because that match is great. And it just one of many great matches for Kyoko Inoue. So yeah, if you know who she is, she's basically a Joshi from back in, I don't say the glory days of Joshi, but back from when AJW was kind of great. So the mid to late 80s to mid 90s sort of era. She was in, if I remember, there was a random Survivor Series match, I can't remember if it was 94 or 95, where there was a load of Joshis all in one match, and Kyoko Inoue was one of them. And I think it was the match where Aja Kong basically, one of the few times in Survivor Series history where one participant has eliminated the entire team, and it was Aja Kong basically eliminated the entire opposition. I think they were building up to face Medusa, but that match never ended up happening. So yeah, so that's who Kyoko Inoue is. So basically, she'll come out, Maki Ito will start singing, she'll interrupt her and say, you know, people like me, Akira Hokuto, Minami Toyota, Aja Kong, Takako Inoue, you know, she'll reel off a load of Chigusa Nagayo, she'll reel off a load of names. You know, we busted our butts to, obviously in Japan, I don't know what Japanese for busting your butt is, but we busted our butts to for Japanese wrestling and for Japanese female wrestling, and then only for people like you to come along and urinate all over it, although she'll not say urinate. And yeah, Maki won't like that, and eventually she'll just say, "Oh, I'm not staying here for this. I'm going. I've said my piece. Now I'm going." So she'll get out the ring. She'll go to leave as she's bending down to go between the ropes. Maki will whack her with the microphone stand. You get the idea. And that's going to lead up to their match at Exordium, which that kind of unofficially books that match essentially. Following on from that, the second tag team match of the night. And it's going to be just a random one to get people on TV. So it's going to be Atomic Super Thunderfrog teaming with Sonny Case, and they're going to take on the new jobber team, Ryan Galeone, or Gale One, or whatever it is, and Darius Carter. So no prizes for guessing who's going to win this match. I just need to put a match on the card, so we're going to go with this one. So Kiss can beat Carter, because why not? No aftermath. And yep, really no purpose to that match, other than I have to have 3 matches, so we'll go for that one. Continue the build for the Zicky Dice return, so we can just talk about how he's changed and how you're going to see a new side to him when he comes back. Blah-de, blah. And then the main event is going to be, well, this is actually 2 segments. It's going to be sort of 2 segments into one. So I'll book them both and I'll explain what's going to happen. Well, no, actually, no, I won't. I'll explain as I'm going along. So we're going to have a tag team match again, because why not? Maybe there'd have been a graphic, there'd have been graphics throughout the show, maybe to advertise this is going to be the main event. It's going to be Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill taking on, representing Bullet Club War Dogs, the 2 rednecks, Chase Owens and Clark Connors. I feel like we need a name for those 2. The redneck, rough rednecks, or something like that. I don't know, something not lame. I'll pay the writers. That's what I paid them for, to come up with better things than that. Real rednecks. Not that one. Don't know. And they are going to win, so we'll give Connors a debut win. So Connors can pin O'Neill, because why not? But not cleanly, of course, interference. So of course, the War Dogs interfere, so it's Bad Luck Fale and David Finlay, so they come out and help them win. But then after the match, we get a save. They're sick of Bullet Club War Dogs, so they're going to come out and kick their butts, basically. So it's Adam Scher and Grizzly Redwood. Get Tree's Hands come out to rescue Joe Hendry and Chuck O'Neill, running for the save. And that's to build up to the match, a future match, a match that's going to be taking place at Exordium, which we're going to kind of book now, even though I can't book it because it's going to be a 4-on-4. Unfortunately, I can't pick an angle that would book that match, but we'll do it. We'll just do it as a 2-on-2. So it's target challenge for next big event. And it's going to be, we'll say Adam Scher and Joe Hendry. I mean, it would be the entire foursome, basically. So what would happen is, if I'll just pick the two other people. So we'll say Finlay and we'll say Clarke Connors, doesn't really matter. We'll go for those two. So what would happen there, basically? So you'd have the tag team match, Connors and Owens versus Hendry and O'Neill. The match would be going on. Out come Bullet Club, War Dogs. They beat up. They obviously help their fellow brethren win. And then it becomes a 4-on-2 assault after the match, and then obviously everyone's waiting for somebody to make the save. Get Tree's Hands music hit. Scher and Redwood storm down the aisle. They get into like a big scuffle, a big brawl. Bullet Club War Dogs back away, and then Scher will grab the microphone, or Hendry, doesn't matter who it is. One of them grabs the mic and say, "Hey, where the hell are you guys going? Oh, you don't like it now the numbers are even, do you? Well, guess what? At Exordium, the numbers are going to be even, because it's going to be you four against us four." And I can't do the accent, so I'm not going to do it. It's going to be you four against us four. There's a pause, and then Joe Hendry. Yeah, so Scher does all that, and then Joe Hendry grabs the mic off Scher, and he says War Games. And then the Bullet Clubbers, they flip out as they're backing off down the ramp. So yeah, Bullet Club War Dogs. So War Dogs in War Games. Bullet Club War Dogs taking on Chuck O'Neill, Joe Hendry, and Get Tree's Hand in a War Games match. That's going to be at Exordium. So that's the big announcement. Hopefully that'll get a nice pop. I think it probably would. But let's see if that nice pop translates into a good show. Yep, that was a good start. Always going to be a good one. Chris Dickinson, fairly reliable when you put him in an angle. The Hobo David is you a gimmick. I didn't realise I'd given him a new one. But okay, fair enough. I think his gimmick was something like trash, and I've changed it to something else. Whatever Jervis Cottonbelly's gimmick is, I think. Comedy characters, something like that. I don't know. Yep, that's fine. Good. She's got good charisma, her, so I was actually hoping for a bit better there, but it doesn't matter. Well, that was a good match. That was a good match. Yeah, that's fine. Good. That was kind of the point. That's why I put Connors in the match. I wanted him, because he's not quite as over as the rest of them. That's the problem. But hey ho. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. But he gained 3, so that's okay. That really does need to stop happening though. He is losing massive chunks of overness, which isn't good. But oh well, 63%. That was pretty good. That last segment really did let everybody down, but oh well, we got there in the end. 203 people came to watch Disruption. I actually need to keep an eye on. I need to extend this contract. It's only got 1 week left, but we'll sort that out in between this video and the next video potentially. Or we'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it in the next video. We're not going to do it now. Yep, you probably should be, buddy. Yep, you probably should be. And that's all we've got to. Read. 203 people. 86%. We're nearly at Colt. Hopefully we'll get there pretty soon. 0.73. Not quite the best rating we've had. Right. So now the go home show. So we've got 2 matches booked now. Well, 3 matches for Exordium. So we've got the War Games match, Bullet Club War Dogs versus Joe Hendry, Chuck O'Neill and Get Tree's Hands. We've got Maki Ito versus Kyoko Inoue. We've got the Whisper versus Richard Holiday. And I think unofficially we've got the 6-person tag. So Shark Boy and the Friendship Express. That's the Hobo and Jervis Cottonbelly, of course. taking on the Hatchet Boys and Jonah. So we've got... yeah, that's kind of unofficially been booked. Right, let's move on to a head-to-head battle with Dynamite. Wednesday the 16th of July, so the go-home show. So we're going to kick things off to the big graphic here to say that the main event... so the main event for this show is going to be... I'll spoil it. It's going to be Joe Hendry versus David Finlay. And that is for the War Games Advantage. They seem to like doing War Games Advantage matches sometimes, so I think we're going to do one. So Finlay versus Hendry. But we're going to kick things off with another singles match, and it's another War Dogs and the opposing faction, random temporary faction, I suppose you could call them. So we're going to actually start with a match, and it's going to be between Chuck O'Neill and Chase Owens. So can Chase Owens keep his winning streak going after winning that tag team match? Yes, he can, but he's going to do it because, of course, Clark Connors runs in. Well, Clark Connors runs in, and then Adam Scherr comes out to make the save. And then, of course, builds up to the Exordium match. And then the final hype video for Zicky Dice returning will play. So we're kind of teasing the fact that he's going to be at Exordium. Spoiler, he's going to be. So, but he's going to do something. It's going to be his big return. There we go. And then this kind of rubber stamps the match. I've kind of already spoiled it, but it doesn't matter. This kind of rubber stamps the 6-person tag that's going to be taking place. So we're going to have an in-ring segment. I mean, I can't book this as in-ring, but it will be. This X2 segment is going to be sort of 2 segments in one. So this would be taking place in the ring. So I think it's an other angle, I believe. Yeah, Work Proposers team accepted. Yep, so Jervis Cottonbelly and the Hobo. So essentially they'd kind of confirm, in this segment they'd be sort of confirming who the Hobo is. So Cottonbelly would be in the ring. Or the Hobo would be in the ring. He'd be about to cut a promo or something, or he'd start talking, introduce himself. And then Cottonbelly comes out and says, you know, they might not know who you are. They might not know who you are, but I do. You know, you're my ex tag team partner. More importantly, you're my friend, and let's get the friendship express out of the. Why doesn't the Friendship Express leave the station again? Oh, some kind of train related joke. You get the idea. And then of course the Hobo accepts. They hug it out, and everybody's happy. But then on the video screen, everybody's happy. They're hugging in the ring, but then on the Tron video screen, whatever we can afford, they would play what's apparently happening backstage, and that is an ambush. 3-on-1 backstage ambush. So Too Tough Tony, the Troublemaker, Corporal Robinson, and Jonah, and no prizes for guessing who they're going to be beating up. It is, of course, Shark Boy, and that unofficially booked the match. So while that's taking place, while that sort of beatdown's taking place, EC3, you know, stand up from the commentary table or whatever, grab the microphone and just say, hey, you know, you're not going to help. Are you not going to run backstage? And oh yeah, or if they do run off, you run off. You run off and go and help your buddy. Oh, and by the way, you best refine your tag team strategy, because in 2 days you're going to be taking on. You get the idea. He just basically books the match. I can't think of anything witty or cutting to say. So yeah, but that essentially books the match. So they reunite in the ring. Sharkboy gets beaten up backstage. They run off to go and help him. By the time they get there, the other three have run off, and then as they're sort of helping him to his feet, EC3 announces the match to be taking place at Exordium. Then back in the ring, it's the second match of the night, another singles match. So I feel I'm spoiling you today. It's going to be, I feel like I've done this before, but we're going to do it again anyway. So it's going to be The Whisper versus Jake Atlas. And The Whisper is going to win, but he's going to win by count out. So what would happen here, and like I said, I feel like I've done this before. And there's a purpose to this, yes. So what would happen here is the match would start, and Jake Atlas would just walk out. He'd basically walk off. He's not doing this. And he intentionally gets counted out. I feel like I've done that before with somebody, possibly him actually, but yeah, Jake Atlas basically gets counted out on purpose. I'm a bit worried that I've not. Bit of a spoiler. I normally. I don't know if I've started the background music basically. So excuse me, that was a bad dose of hiccups. So yeah, there may be no background music playing at this point because I don't add it after. I record it while I'm speaking basically. So anyway, move on. Right, next segment is going to be. I think I've changed this. Let's see if I have. Manager angle. Where is it? I don't know. Can I? Why can't I? I'll do it this week. I don't think it matters, to be fair. Oh no, the music is playing. That's okay. Right. Don't know why. So that was a waste. I thought I'd start the music, but yeah, it wasn't. I couldn't hear it for some reason. Not that it matters. Anyway, let's just forget the last. Let's just forget everything I've just said for the last few things I've just said. Right. Yeah. So anyway, this segment is going to be. Yeah, I thought I had. So Mina Shirakawa and Chris. I mean, so what would happen here? Basically, Chris Dickinson would come out and he'd say something like, you know, I challenged Patrick Clarke on Monday and he hasn't replied, but I know for a fact that I know that he will. I know he'll fight me eventually. And just to be absolutely sure, I want to get his attention. So guess what, Patrick? When we do fight, guess who's going to be in my corner? And then he goes quiet. Mina Shirakawa's musical hit, and she comes skipping out in her skimpy attire and joins Chris Dickinson in the ring. And again, we're trying to solidify the fact that Chris Dickinson's starting to trust her now. So despite the fact she's been brainwashed, Chris Dickinson feels like the real me. You can get the real Mina back, basically. So Mina Shirakawa, sort of officially now, will be in Chris Dickinson's corner for this match that may or may not happen. Spoiler: it's going to happen. And then, while that happens in the ring, we then cut backstage to Lexi Nair, and she's going to interview Yuki, of course, the ex-partner of Mina Shirakawa. And incidentally, Yuki is wrestling for MLW this weekend, I think. So if that sounds interesting, go and check that out. I might check that out actually, just to see who she is. I've never really heard of her, to be honest with you, before I did this series, so I might go and check that out. Really wish I not said. I keep thinking about it now. It's too late, but I really wish I not said about the music, and then got hiccups. That was pretty bad. But we'll edit all that out. Don't worry, so you won't hear it, and you wouldn't know what I'm talking about right now. So she can target. She can say Patrick Clarke. Why not? So should you just basically say the interview? Lexi Nair will just say, "Oh, you looks like your friend. You're going to get your friend back, and looks like she's with Chris Dickinson now. Does that mean you're hoping to reconcile and you can get your friend back?" And then she'll just say, "Well, I hope so." And yeah, hope Chris Dickinson, if they do fight Patrick Clarke, hope he kicks his butt. And just simple things like that. Again, just reminding people that she's part of the story, or the bigger picture, if you like. Next up, another tag team match and more. I feel like there's too much Bullet Club on this show, but we are kind of trying to get them ready for this War Games match. So the fun little tag team, the comedy team of Sunny Kiss and Atomic Super Thunder Frog. So they would have been the last match that they had would have been hopefully a bit of a comedy match. And they're going to be taking on Bad Luck Fale and Clark Connors. This won't be a comedy match. Clark Connors featured yet again, and they are going to lose. So Atomic Thunder Frog will get, I think this is going to be his first win. So we'll give Frog the win, and he can pin Clark Connors. And he can do that because Get Tree's hands want to get one over on them. So they can run out. And we'll not say an aftermath, we'll not beat them down after. They can just sort of back away laughing after they've cost them the match. And of course that builds up to this War Games match, because I think I should have said actually, yeah, the Joe Hendry Finlay match for the advantage, everyone's banned from ringside. So Hendry's partners in for War Games are banned from ringside, and Finlay's partners are the Bullet Club are banned from ringside basically. Following on, hype video reminding people of what happened last week between Maki Ito and Kyoko Inoue. So it's hype video for one of the matches, basically, like I said, a recap of that host angle. And then the main event match, not the main event segment, is the Hendry Finlay match. So Joe Hendry taking on David Finlay, not Darius Carter. And of course, the heels need the advantage for War Games, so David Finlay will have to win. They don't need the advantage, but it's better when they've got it. Yep, so he can cheat. Why not? Because he's a heel. And then no aftermath, even though the real aftermath will be as soon as the match is over, the locker room empties, the War Dogs come down, and then Cher and Redwood, etc., follow them down. And then, of course, then is to build up to the War Games match. And then finally, we have another video package. And it is for a stable hype video. We'll just say hype video for stable, it's not really. So, the Blacklist, featuring, of course, Patrick Clarke. So yeah, there'll be a big schmoz in the ring. You think the show ends, but no, we get a video. Well, we get a video package. So again, it's Patrick Clarke. He's sat in it. You see him sat in his throne, holding that gold chalice. There's Mandy Rose there with the palm leaf, and he'll just say something along the. I'll try to think of something cool. I'll try to think of a promo off the top of my head that he can say. Say, says Chris Dickinson. Chris Dickinson. So you want to get me out of my throne? You want me to sacrifice this lifestyle to come and humour you, just to come and fight you? When we all know I'm not the bad guy here. We all know that I'm just trying to bring out the real Chris Dickinson, and it seems I'm doing that. And you want to taunt me? You think you're taking Mina away from me? Well, you know, I'm fine with that. I've still got Mandy, and you know what? I've got maybe some other friends that I could call on if I end up getting a little bit lonely. But as for this little challenge of yours, you know what? I'm a little bit bored of sitting around. Don't get me wrong, it's great sitting here. Got Mandy here at my beck and call, but you know what? I want to get my hands dirty. I want to get dirty. I want to get dirty with you, Chris Dickinson. So you want to fight? You want to fight me at Exordium? You want to face me in a match? You want to bring Mina Shirakawa to ringside? Well, guess what? You bring her along. I'll bring Mandy along, and let's see what happens, huh? We got women in our corner. We got muscle in the ring, and you're gonna see that I'm not the bad guy. You're the bad guy, but that's fine because I know the real you, and I'm gonna bring that out of you at Exordium. So you know what? I'll be there, Chris. I'll see you on Friday. And that kind of sucked, but you get the idea. He will. That's why I highlighted. So that he basically accepts. Basically, we play a video, and eventually he accepts Chris Dickinson's challenge, and the match is on. And then, of course, at the end of the video, he snaps his fingers, and the screen goes black, and then the show ends. So that's very, very quickly put the Exordium card together. So we've got 5 matches. So Triple H would be proud. We've got the War Games match, Bullet Club War Dogs, and Joe. In fact, we'll go through the card. We'll get the rating actually, then we'll go through the card, and then we'll end the video. Good, 85%. That was way better. I thought it was going to be excellent stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Hug it out obviously gets them over. Good, fair enough. We'll take that. Oh, that was a good match. Shame we're not going to get the average for the overall though. That's going to affect the rating, but it's still going to be good enough. Yep, that's fine. Excellent stuff. What a great show this is. Just need for Adam Scher to lose a load of overness, which is no doubt going to happen. But I think we're going to be okay. Yep. Well, that could have been better. I think we're going to be okay. Good. Yeah, Mina Shirakawa is still in the blacklist. So that's why she's gained overness from that segment. But it doesn't matter. It's a bit of a tangled web. I felt like that was better than that. But yeah, the match ratings weren't as good as they should have been. Right, so we're now the day before Exordium, so that'll be taking place in the next video. And then, of course, the Fallout. So yeah, as I said, 5 matches booked. So we'll just quickly run through the cards. So we've got the Hatchet Boys and Jonah, basically EC3's henchmen, taking on Shark Boy and his newfound backup, the Friendship Express. We've got the rematch between the Whisper and Richard Holiday. We've got Maki Ito versus Kyoko Inoue. We've got Chris Dickinson versus Patrick Clarke. Bit of a double main event here, really. Chris Dickinson versus Patrick Clarke. So Patrick Clarke's in-ring debut. And then finally, the War Games match. The Bullet Club War Dogs taking on Joe Hendry, Chuck O'Neill, and Get Tree's Hand. And that's going to be taking place at Exordium. And that is going to be taking place in the next video. But before I sign off, let's just see if we've got any interesting emails. 205 people came to watch Liberty. Yep, you don't say. Yep, you probably should be. Yep, cheers, buddy. That's what we pay you. Oh, no, we don't pay you the big bucks. It's Jerry, isn't it? Twice, then. Twice he thinks he should be out of the cards. So he told me on the 14th. And again on the 16th. You need to calm down, as Taylor Swift once said. But anyway, enough of that. I think we're talking about her. I don't know what happened to my voice then. Definitely time to end this video. So if you enjoyed this video, then please like and share the video. You can also leave a comment on the video, should you choose to do that. While you're on YouTube, if you head on over to the channel, The Uncommentator, you'll find the rest of the videos in this playlist, most of which I'm a bit more upbeat. I feel like I've been a bit subdued in this video, so apologies if that has been the case. So yeah, if you want to go and check that out, want to see how we've got to this point, then that is all on YouTube. If you like wrestling, I've also played through this game before, where I booked PWG on a slightly different database, so please go and check that out. I've also played through WWE Crush Hour, if that sounds like your kind of fun. If you don't like wrestling, then I'm not quite sure how you're watching this video, but if that is the case, then there is lots of non-wrestling related content for you to enjoy, including Kirby's Dream Course, including Pokemon, including South Park Rally, which is popular for some reason, and everything else in between. But join me next time. We're going to be moving on. It's going to be our big July event. We're going to have a War Games match. We're going to have a 6-person tag. We're going to have the big in-ring debut of Patrick Clarke. And then we're going to have the Fallout from Exordium straight after. But to that point, for now, from me, is sayonara.